I think President Lincoln said it best when he spoke at the ceremony at Gettysburg in 1863, that through their deeds, the dead had spoken more eloquently for themselves than any living ever could, and that we, the living, could only honor them by rededicating ourselves to the cause that so many so willingly gave their last full measure of devotion. Today, Memorial Day, I think it's only fitting that we recall the valor and sacrifices of those who gave so many for our country. We remember those who gave their lives that we might live in freedom and enjoy the fruits of liberty and the opportunities thereof. I plan to honor this tradition with two examples. But before I do that, let me take a brief segue into history. So, the Civil War, which ended in 1865, was the bloodiest war in our nation's history. It claimed more than 620,000 military deaths, roughly 2% of the country's population at that time. To deal with such a large number of casualties, our country established the first national cemeteries. In the 1860s, Americans in various towns and cities throughout the country in spring came together to celebrate their fallen soldiers and decorate their graves with flowers and recite prayers. John A. Logan, the Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, chose May 30th in 1868 as the day to celebrate at the graves of Union soldiers, thus beginning the tradition of remembering those who served in May. In 1968, Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which established Memorial Day as the last Monday in May. However, this day isn't about three-day weekends, barbecues, or family get-togethers, as laudable as those things are. No, it's about remembering those who gave their all for our freedom. When we think about those fallen heroes, I think there is no better example than those who won the nation's highest honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. This is an award given for valor to more than 3,500 people in the United States. Here in Michigan, we've done our part with 110 winners of that award. Of the 50 states, we have the 7th most winners, and we are not the 7th largest. So let's take a moment to remember one of the heroes from West Michigan, Private First Class James McLaughlin from Bangor, Michigan. I'll read to you a portion of the citation that accompanied his award. During the Battle of Tam Kai, Vietnam, his company air assaulted in to My Yan Hill on May 13th. With complete disregard of his life, he ran 100 yards through an open field and through heavy fire to rescue a comrade too injured to move and carried him to safety. That same day, the 2nd platoon was ordered to search the area around the hill when the platoon was ambushed by a large North Vietnamese force, and they sustained heavy casualties. With complete disregard for his life and personal safety, Private First Class McLaughlin led 2 Americans into a safe trench while being hit by a propelled grenade. He ignored direct fire and the order to stay back and braved enemy assault while moving through the kill zone on 4 more occasions to extract wounded comrades. He treated their injuries and prepared them for evacuation, though bleeding heavily from multiple wounds to his head and body. He refused to be evacuated and stayed at the fight with his fellow soldiers, who were heavily outnumbered by North Vietnamese forces. For those actions, Private McLaughlin of Western Michigan was awarded the Medal of Honor. I've been asked many times throughout the years by civilian friends and colleagues, do the kids today have the guts? Do they have the grit? Do they have the American fighting spirit of their forefathers? Let me answer that question with another example. Master Sergeant John Chapman, the first Medal of Honor winner whose deeds were reported by a reconnaissance group. On May 4, 2002, as a part of Operation Anaconda in Afghanistan, Sergeant Chapman formed an important part of a special operations detachment that included Rangers and Navy SEALs. They were inserted into Top War mountain range to do reconnaissance at an outpost and observe enemy activities in the surrounding valleys. Unfortunately, the operation ran into trouble immediately. Enemy forces attacked and severely damaged the MH-46 Chinook helicopter that was deploying the Americans. During the action, Navy Petty Officer First Class Neil Roberts SEAL Brent Selbrecht elected to return to the mountaintop to rescue Roberts, if possible. Despite the overwhelming odds against the Americans, a second Schleep took off and took the Americans back to Bartlett under intense fire. They then assaulted uphill to rescue their comrade. During the action, Sergeant Chapman was engaged by enemy fire from an entrenched position. He assaulted and destroyed the position. Seeing his teammates under fire from another strong point, he assaulted that point with complete disregard to his own personal safety. Chapman then moved through open ground to take on a third entrenched point and was cut down by enemy bullets. Severely injured, and despite those injuries, he continued to engage the enemy and moved to a third strong point. From that entrenched position, he was overrun. Surrounded by enemies in close quarters, hand-to-hand combat, Chapman fought on. He fought alone, outnumbered, with courage and tenacity, with complete disregard for his life, until he was slain in combat. In the process, he saved the lives of his teammates at the cost of his own. So I'd say yes, the kids these days have fighting spirit. Today, as we pause and embrace all who served so well, there are parades and flags and words of gratitude, encouragement, and respect, and those things are fine. But I think there's a deeper lesson that we should strive to be worthy of the values for which our fellow Americans have fought and sacrificed so much, to be worthy of their courage in the face of fear and by honoring their commitment to country and duty. I'd like to end my remarks with a Navy tradition. To all those who serve, to those who are serving, to those who will serve, I wish you fair winds and following seas.